Hello, hi, and welcome again to the Terminal Podcast, where in the end, it's all about the numbers. The number six isn't as spectacular as five when it comes to looking back, but that's what we'll be doing this series for. 3, 2, 1, looking back to 2018 and the original publication of the rap debut album tournament, the RDAT. Uh, my guests tonight have reviewed the articles posted on martinkester.com and have stopped by to continue this ever evolving conversation like civilized citizens. So let's start with a simple where you calling in from and a simple question. Yes or no, is Kendrick Lamar a top five rapper of all time? We'll work from my left. So that means you, Kenny.
Hey, what's going on, everyone? This is Kenny calling from Atlanta, and my answer to the question is no.
Okay. Ed?
My name is Ed Molina. Actually in New Jerusalem today. As far as Kendrick, wow, no, I'm old. He's not in my top five.
Buzz?
Um, I'm here from our beautiful nation's capital. No.
All right. Everyone is entitled to their opinion, but in my opinion, opinionated content podcasts are better when guests have to defend their decisions. 6 years ago, I created a tournament to determine which rapper had the best debut album. Uh, Before we begin, the ground rules were decided 6 years ago, so they're in cement. This is whole. I'll start off this podcast. This series is essentially I put all this up and they all had you know um polls for all the articles because all the questions that were being asked. But I posted that, and in my heyday of marketing, the marketing campaign of me posting once on Facebook with no other anything, and that's it. And surprisingly, didn't get any views. Barely told
Doctor.
my people or anything like that. But surprisingly, I thought I'd, but it didn't. But either way, it means it was 6 years ago. But this podcast especially is the opinion that I didn't get. So basically, you guys are the votes or non-votes that I didn't get, at least for the very beginning. So before we begin again, but the ground rules, as I said, were set 6 years ago. So those are cement in stone. This is the album must be the first time the artist or artist truly released an album. So the obvious answer to this is Wu-Tang Clan 36 Chambers eliminates everybody else's album. So you can't do Cuban Linx, Ironman, Method Man, all those are out. So that kind of, and that also eliminates the aforementioned Kendrick Lamar, since Overly Dedicated was making the rounds around 2010 and Section 80 dropped in 2011. So he's out. So the one album that everybody's like, oh, that's the one. No, it's the one before that one. And that's one. So is there any albums that you guys can think of that this rule unjustly eliminates, in your opinion? I'll go backward. Fuzz?
The Chronic.
That's
Yeah,
fair, actually.
yeah, but Dre's Dre. You know who Dre is at that point. You've heard
Yeah.
Dre beats. It's not like he's that's what I'm saying. You
No,
know what I
I
mean? It's
know,
not
but by rules, if they weren't the rules and we were going by like, well,
okay.
Yeah,
that's his
that was a
solo
question.
one.
Right.
I think like
Yeah.
Chronic is way up there for me.
It and the Chronic. Well, I think actually I might have let the Chronic in because it's not because it is Dre, but the Chronic eliminates Snoop.
Yeah,
So
it
I don't,
does.
I
doggy
don't, I don't,
style,
I don't,
doggy
no,
style.
no, no,
Oh,
no, no,
he's
no,
all
Eh,
no,
I
no,
don't think
like
so.
He's
he's
a
all like
featured
half the
artist on the
absolutely
tracks.
Chronic,
not.
so
He's all like half the tracks,
yeah,
man. He's all like half the tracks. He's
But
all
it's
over
not
that
his
album.
album.
he's literally on like the first 5 tracks of the album, so that makes sense.
It's not his
So,
album.
I
but it's
don't
not
know,
his album,
man.
but he's
That's
all
bum
over it.
juice rules
So
right
you
there
so
by
it's
that.
not so doggy style isn't a true debut. You've heard Snoop Dogg already. You have an opinion about Snoop Dogg already. So you're buying doggy
I mean,
style knowing what you're getting into.
if you want to break it down to the nitty gritty, like we could talk mixtapes and like get rid of everybody pretty much.
But I'm not. I'm talking these
power
people
of
on
money
released albums. Snoop is released on the Chronic, so the Chronic's getting marketing and a whole push as a label album would, and that's Snoop for the first 5 tracks, like you said. That's not. But either way, so that's a whole other thing based on my criteria, because this is the whole point of this. There are worthy albums that just weren't enough. Every tournament needs brackets, which is always fun. I created 4 groups because grouping is always fun, as I just said. And the quartet consists of, this is going to be even interesting. I'll try and see the Borough of Queens, because the presumptive #1 overall seed in a best debut album tournament gets the #1 seed in its backyard. And there are enough rappers coming out of Queens that they can get their own bracket. So that's one bracket. There's another bracket for groups. This requires multiple MCs. So not just an MC and a DJ. So Eric B and Rakim do not qualify. Neither does Black Sheep as a best debut album from the Native Tongue Collective, but because it's just Drez. So that's groups is another bracket. The rest of New York City, there are a lot of great debut albums uptown and all over the place, but fine. And then outside of New York City, and this is the largest possible grouping, but Lil Wayne releases Under Cash Money with the Hot Boys, eliminates his debut, and I already mentioned Doggy Style, and Straight Outta Compton, the album, not the movie, eliminates both Dre and Cube is what I was going with, because like I said, you heard them at that point. They're stomping on your television. Straight Outta Compton. That's NWA. So when Dre releases, you already know who these people are. So, but that's not. We've already gone past that. We can go back to it. But are the brackets at least? How about the brackets? Let's just go with that. Any questions on the brackets? Any debate or discussion against the brackets? Go ahead, Ed.
Not the brackets, but I got a lawyer up for world-class Wrecking Crew fans out there, because Dre's just been all over the place.
Straight Outta Compton.
Yeah, like, but
I will say Killah and Dre.
Yeah, and Ren. Like Ren wasn't top liver.
This tournament.
Oh no, that's right. You're right about Wrecking Crew. But now I'm just being an ass now.
No, which is fine.
I feel like Martin's trying to get rid of everybody, because
no, I'm not. I'm trying to make it where you actually have to have a debut. The NWA's got their debut album. That would be in. I'm saying, look, that would be in groups. They'd be in the group set. They'd be in.
But if you're not letting Snoop Dogg have Doggy Style because of the Chronic, like it's got to be consistent.
Like you also eliminated a lot of Wu-Tang out of there, because like Bill for Cuban Linx. I mean, come on.
Yes.
Like, I'm just saying.
Yes. That's exactly why I'm wearing this shirt. I'm wearing this in protest, because we can't talk about the purple team.
So wait, you're protesting the purple tape, but not Doggy Style being Snoop's debut?
Well, mainly because he was a featured artist. In fact, if you looked at it when you initially bought the album,
Ghost's name is on the purple tape.
But as far as Wu-Tang, it's not Wu-Tang featuring Raekwon. It's basically Wu-Tang. But with the Chronic, featuring Snoop, featuring Corrupt, featuring Daz, featuring Nate Dogg. So these are featured artists. So to Martin's point, that technically Doggy Style wouldn't be a debut album.
I mean, somebody pull up the Chronic where it says features Snoop Dogg. Like it
does. It does say feature. Like those are mostly labeled as features.
Once we're done, that's the first thing I'm looking up.
I don't want to eliminate.
But Purple Tape definitely mentions Ghostface Killah.
Right. Well, we're not necessarily disputing that. We're just saying that Wu-Tang eliminates Raekwon and Ghostface.
Yeah. I get that, and I'm cool with that.
Again,
we can't be Doggy Style.
Okay, so me being an ass and devil's advocate and whatnot, I guess we got to eliminate Illmatic, because Live at the Barbecue it makes that was came
that's
out.
That's just one track though. That's just one track.
Illmatic stays because Nas wasn't featured.
It's literally one track.
He wasn't featured.
It's not even a full track. It's a verse on one track, and
Yeah,
that's
that
how
was a
hot
guest
that shit
appearance.
was. That we all then bought Illmatic, and then Illmatic was Illmatic. So yeah. Everybody, you'd heard of Nas. You didn't really you hadn't heard a full song of Nas. You hadn't heard 2 tracks by Nas. You heard a verse on a mixtape if you were lucky. I'm saying, you know what I mean? That's something like that. You can have somebody who just had like a couple of albums, a couple of songs, but wasn't like and then a full debut. So that's
there's a lot of disappointed DJ Yellow fans. I mean, out there. I'm just saying.
There's more nuances, though. More nuances.
You're wrong, but it's again, I get it. As they say in Mexican wrestling, rudo ref. We know how the ref is leaning, so I get it.
It's not a lean. It's
rudo ref.
I believe the point of it is I don't think it's hard to say that Illmatic is one of the greatest rap albums of all time. I don't think that's me saying anything that's anybody's going to get upset about. Seeing how that was his debut album, that was his rookie album. It's almost like really, it's like rookie rules when it comes to baseball, really, because football's got too few games. But it's like, if you win 2/3 of a season, you no longer a rookie. You first year stats and everything like that. Snoop and them would have just been over that line. Nas, he had he came up in September and played like a game. A great game. That was that one track, and then was a rookie the next year and put out Illmatic. So it was more it was really working backwards. It's like, all right, so if that is the status of where you hadn't heard anything, and then this guy drops this album and it's like, bah, what other albums are like that? And yes, if there wasn't some sort of elimination, a breakdown in some sort, then yeah, we'd be here forever. Because it's like, oh, then who gets out of the Wu-Tang bracket to then play in the Brooklyn bracket?
The Wu-Tang bracket is Staten Island. That's the borough. Like, you did deviate by again, just me being difficult.
ODB and Diz are from Brooklyn, though.
Oh, that's a good point.
But that's my point. It's like there's got to be some way to narrow the field down in some way somehow.
So now we're disappointing Shaheem, the rugged chow fit.
What are we doing here? Nuances.
If you can name 3 songs, off Shaheem,
Killah Army's pissed off right now.
Shaheem guy.
What?
Ed can vouch. I was a Shaheem guy.
Same here.
I remember that. I remember the track he had. Yes.
And he was great in the album.
I like to remember his On and On. Anything after that, I'm going. But that's all I remember from Shaheem.
He had that one track.
Right.
I'm just saying.
Killah
Army fans. One Killah Army fan is gonna be pissed. But let's do this.
We could do Sons of Man. We could do any of that. But if you say Shaheem had one good track, I don't know.
I agree with Buzz.
Shaheem had wild.
Dear God, I recommend
if you want to pick verses, I could send you once we're done. I'll send you 10 within 30 minutes.
I'm not saying that Shaheem was a great rapper. I'm saying, was that the first thing that he dropped on his rookie album? When he was a freshman, when he first came out, did he have complete fire like the presumptive number 1 seed in Illmatic? That's I'm in working backwards. You gotta see it.
That's hard because really, in sports terms, Illmatic is like Randy Moss's rookie season. It's hard to put anything up against Illmatic.
Yeah, exactly. Yes, that is a point. But there are other people who have rookie seasons. People will be like, oh, but wait, hold on a sec. That and hence the conversation. I was trying to come up with a rookie NFL player who had a great season. I guess you could say like TJ Spread, everybody's gonna hate him, but it was okay. But that's not, like that wouldn't be a conversation, but that would be like, oh, that was a good album. But it wasn't on the level that we're talking about when it comes to Randy Moss or some of the other albums. There are other albums. I was gonna say there are good rookie albums.
Oh, so absolutely.
It's not like everybody got eliminated.
Apparently,
36 Chambers is going to be in this tournament because as a group, that's one of the top group rookie albums. Who else comes out like that? So it's not like they're gone. They're just not. The other albums aren't going to be in this.
Right, but they made a demo. They made a demo, so let's get rid of them.
Illmatic is putting up Caitlin Clark numbers, but Angel Reese's, there's a few Angel Reese's out there that can maybe pull the upset. I'm just saying.
I got one that I'm putting above Illmatic that I feel like
I had one above Illmatic too, by the way.
Now as my spirit gets filled, that I rushed home to get on this podcast for Nuance Mania, and I don't even know what to say anymore. But I feel like now my pick that I'm putting above Illmatic is not gonna, like, you know, maybe it's gonna get shot down.
I have that same fear about my, because I have Illmatic, but I do have, I think, another album that I think is better than Illmatic as a debut album, and not from New York.
Okay.
Mine is also not from New York.
All right. So am I guessing this? I'm lost.
I'll tell you if you want. I don't know if we're there yet.
I think I have a feeling. I think I know what they're both going to say, but I'm ready to listen.
So share it.
I'm waiting.
Well, I mean, I don't know. Does the world-class Wrecking Crew get rid of Straight Outta Compton? Because in my opinion, in my humble opinion, I'd listen to Straight Outta Compton before Illmatic any day of the week.
Straight Outta Compton,
and I love Nas,
I believe,
and I love Nas.
Is in the tournament. So,
and I love Nas.
All right.
Because here's the thing too, like, what did Illmatic do, like, you know, culturally? Like, it not as much as Straight Outta Compton.
Not as well, and that is a whole.
Yes. I'll answer.
That is a separate conversation.
Nas changed the landscape of hip hop production. Back then, most people had in-house production. You know, you had somebody on the block or somebody in the crew that did the beats for you. This was an album where Q-Tip, Large Professor, LES, Pete Rock, DJ Premier, all the hottest producers in that time came for this album. That changed everything. Now everybody has, you know, getting tracks from Pete Rock, DJ Premier, Kanye. That really changed hip hop. So from that standpoint, that's what Illmatic brought to the game.
Culturally speaking,
just the other day I heard 2 exclusive Madlib albums with a rapper being announced, and everybody going crazy. But we still talking about fuck the police.
And to me, I'm going down south for
NWA did that.
To me, I'm going down south because I love Illmatic, any genre of music, and you know my tastes are all over the place. But I think one of the greatest debut albums of all time is Outkast Southern Playalistic.
I knew you were going to say that.
And that album's in the tournament as well. Yes.
I mean, you talk about.
I'll say the best Southern debut.
You talk about culture, like how that album helped shift the power base of hip hop from New York City to Atlanta. I'm a New Yorker to Atlanta. Listen, I'm a New Yorker.
Skyline, right? You see the skyline.
I'm a New Yorker. I'm a New Yorker through and through. I love my 5 boroughs. I bleed Brooklyn. But anyone in 2024 arguing that New York City or Los Angeles is the power base of hip hop, they're out of their minds. It's Atlanta. Everything. There's a reason Drake is culture vulturing Atlanta. There's a reason, you know, that a lot of the hip hop, modern day hip hop, is coming out of Atlanta, and it's because of Southern Playalistic.
I got to agree, and shout out to Ed for wearing Coney Island merch.
Oh yeah.
I said because like any tournament, whether it's the NCAA or the NCAA is kind of the way I always view it is there's always the number one pick, the number one seed. That's what the number one seed is. The number one seed. That doesn't mean there aren't, like, every other album you've named is also in this tournament because Straight Outta Compton is in this tournament because I'm in Atlanta. You think I could be around and not have Outkast? Yeah, no. Southern Playalistic.
How often do you hear Pastor Troy? No, give me some faith. As one of the things I want to do when I come down there is feel like Atlanta still messes with Pastor Troy.
Yo, Buzz is gonna get his big meat on down there. He's gonna go to Magic City, get the wings and whatnot.
That is an option.
No, I'm a Pastor Troy guy. Is Atlanta?
Oh, you're not joking. I thought you were messing with me.
Pastor Troy, first rapper to wear a championship belt.
I'll give you that.
Okay.
Yeah, I'll give you that too. That's when I started listening to him. When I saw him walking around with the championship belt, I was like, I like this guy. I like his swagger. I like this dude.
I don't know where he's at, so I can't, bring him to life or anything. But
Yeah.
But I'm saying, does Atlanta like still bump him or like?
No.
no.
I'll see if my tickets are refundable.
That's old people music, and I think that's another thing
Yeah.
about this turn. I mean, I can't speak on other people's ages, but I'm closer to a grave than a cradle. Is what
Oh
I'm
yeah,
saying.
no.
Yeah, me too.
I'm
Yeah.
24.
I'm not, because
I feel like
hear
if
what
anyone, go ahead.
I hear what comes out of the cars, and I understand that. I believe, yeah, Kendrick is kind of where I stopped, and that's what, about 2010, 2015, about there. And that's not, and I'm being generous to myself, because by then I'm sort of like, yeah, no, y'all have kind of taken what, and this is hip hop, this is rap and everything like that, which is, they've changed it and they've turned it into something different, and it's not what it was before. But I still got 30 some odd years of history. Like, well, from this section back here, this is what I'm going based off of, because I don't know what that is, because that's y'all. And this, because I listen to it, I'm like, I'll listen to this. I'll say this much, and it was a YouTube video, so who knows the truth of it, but they were showing these modern day rappers. They was like, well, we saw how Jay, as in Jay-Z, would go in studio and he wouldn't have anything written down. He would just hear the track and he'd flow off of it. And he would write down something off of it and stuff like that, because people still wrote lyrics at that time. But apparently the kids now, they just go in there and they hear the little bit on the track and they'll do a little bit of a bar and say, all right, save that. And then go back into it and then sit there and save that and then cut together, or, come back and then and save what they think is the best. And then that's the track. And I'm like,
because they're trash.
watch it, and well, hence my point. I can't add albums past a certain about 2015 to this conversation, because I can't hear that and recognize that as quality. I can't hear that. I mean, the beats don't sound like they've gone in any better direction. You know what I mean?
There's bumping beats. I'm not gonna lie, there are some bumping modern day beats out there. I'm like, all right.
But there's
I'll say this though. I'm old, 24 years old, and I'm basing all this, like I was an aspiring rapper. I like lyrics.
And that is
these new guys, they just, there's nobody that moves me lyrically, really. Yes. So I mean, like the thing that I'm most upset about is me and Ed actually in the worst city in America lived together for a while. And I'm mad that Ed never recorded me right after waking up, because I feel like that could have hit and made me money more than the bars that I actually thought about and actually put some brains into, because he could have just caught me mumbling as I'm trying to catch consciousness, and that shit would have blown up. And
if you had the right production, if you had gone to Snicker production, you could have hooked up that right beat, and then it would have been gold. But that's all it takes.
Listen,
so wait, we trying to move.
I just hold on, guys. I need to set the record straight. I need to set the record straight. We did not share a room. We were roommates, but we did not share a room.
Who said we shared a room? I said we were roommates.
No, you made it sound like, well, I wake up in the morning mumbling. I'm like, I didn't see you first thing in the morning. I think I had,
No, I mumble for hours after waking up. Ask people at my school.
That's true.
I don't speak coherently for a good
I just want to set. I'm not judging anyone. I just want to set the record straight. We were roommates, but not that roommates. Okay,
right.
just he's
right. Not that there's anything wrong with that.
No.
Anything to deflect the taking accountability for you messing up. That's fine.
I'm just gonna say, as someone who's not an aspiring rapper at any point in his life, I do appreciate that in this era we can rhyme Versace with Versace and then put the hook Versace in it and still have a banger out there.
Wait, what are we rhyming Versace with?
Versace.
What is Versace?
I don't know. That's what the sound is.
They don't. It's just the mumble. It's the beat. It's a whole different thing, and that's a different conversation because it's a question of what, like you've been talking lyrics. That was the whole point of it. It was the lyrics. All the people that you talk about, even that the generation now apparently looks back on in revelry like they look on Jay, and he's about lyrics. Yes, he went and got the paid for or whatever and got the production correct. Yes, but lyrically, he was good enough. You know what I mean? It's not like he wasn't. It's maddening, and all of this is just going to put me into another rumble stumble. So I'm going to exit out here with a trivia question, which the name I started with, which is Kendrick Lamar, and Good Kid, Mad City, which is amazing. Debuted then on public that wasn't sent as previously stated. Kendrick's not hot, was already hot on the streets that came out. Kendrick earned 7 Grammy nominations, including Album of the Year for Good Kid, but lost to Daft Punk. In 2022, Rolling Stone called Good Kid the greatest concept album of all time. Because it's Rolling Stone, and you'd have to be really old to even know who that is.
Right.
But a year later, Rolling Stone updated their list, and this is about numbers, and they do put them out. Their list of the 500 greatest albums of all time. So based off of what Rolling Stone has already said about Kendrick's album, where did they put Mad City in their album list? Ed, you spinning around, look like you, Earl, give me the first number.
Sure. We're talking 500 any genre.
500 greatest, the Rolling Stone 500 greatest albums.
All right. So
sorry.
You figure Fleetwood Mac, Beatles, Guns N' Roses are ahead of them. I'm gonna go with my lucky number 30.
You're gonna go 30?
Yeah.
30. All right. Kenny?
I was thinking the same thing as Ed. I'm thinking like Songs in the Key of Life, Appetite for Destruction, Metallica the Black Album, all these albums ahead of it. I'm gonna say 25.
25. Fuzz?
I don't know, 14.
14. You realize I said the 500.
Listen, I don't know. I don't know. Let me tell you how I feel.
All right, hey. The number
Section 80.
You're
Good
24.
Kid, Mad City. I don't mess with either one of them. TDE, give me Schoolboy Q any day of the week. I like Kendrick. Section 80 is maybe my least favorite Kendrick album, and maybe second least favorite, Good Kid, Mad City. I like Damn. Nobody liked Damn.
I like Damn.
Damn was all right.
But that was his first album. Either way,
my favorite track
so the
is
number you said was 14. Like, Ed, you had 30. Kenny, you had
25.
You had 25. The trivia answer will be in the description for the next episode. You can hear more Terminal podcasts about sports music and more. We're on Pandora, Amazon, Spotify, and if you're listening to Apple Music, please leave a review, which I'd like to thank any and all guests for stopping by and wish you safe travels on your journey home. Thanks for listening, and good night.